Hi guys, welcome back aboard good old Athena. If everything goes according to plan, then by the end of this week we should be in Cape Canaveral in Florida. But to get there we will have to cover some 300 nautical miles. We've had a really wonderful time here in the Bahamas, but hurricane season is upon us and it's time for us to get out of here.
If you're new here, we're Ava and Mess. I spent 7 years on a somewhat extensive refit of our 1987 Trident Warrior sailboat named Athena. It was an oh glorious sanding extravaganza. We left Denmark and started cruising full time, sailing down Europe's west coast, and then we had our biggest adventure yet, crossing the Atlantic. Now we're sanding and sailing our way around the world.
Our first jump, the jump we're going to make today, is going to be from Highbourne Key, where we are right now, to Nassau. That's only about 35 nautical miles. Once we get there, well, we have a few different options. Today we'll see us end up really close to Nassau. From there we can either do a couple of day jumps, doink, doink, to get us up to Freeport, or we can do a single overnight to get us to Freeport, or we can check out Nassau and do 2 overnights all the way up to Cape Canaveral. Which one of those we're going to choose, we'll let weather decide. Now there's only really one thing we need to be concerned about with the forecast we have right now, and that is the Gulf Stream out here that flows south to north, because we don't want to be out there if there's any kind of northerly component in the wind, because that way you'll have wind over tide, which is a recipe for a very unpleasant trip. But as far as this morning, let's just worry about getting from Highbourne to Nassau without bumping any of these red dots here, which are all rocks or coral heads. So yeah, let's get underway. Around 8 hours later, we found ourselves anchored outside of Nassau, racing towards town in an attempt to check out the customs before they closed for the day. We tied up at the most expensive dinghy dock I've ever been at $20 per day. After some confusion, it turned out that customs in Nassau actually requires you to bring the boat into a marina for you to check out. We got lucky and a very nice customs lady met us at the dinghy dock and cleared us out without actually seeing Athena. We decided to check out in Nassau and head straight to Florida because there was no wind in the 10-day forecast. The next morning, the two of us and our little stowaway waved goodbye to Nassau and its iconic hotels. After 2 days of rumbling along, we got to enjoy one last scenic sunrise on the water off of the coast of Cape Canaveral. We spent the first night in the United States at Cape Marina, but then we were incredibly lucky to get a slip in PCYC, or Port Canaveral Yacht Club. Unlike the 2 other marinas next door, the docks in the Yacht Club are brand new. In fact, we pulled in here the day after they got the green light to reopen after having finished replacing all of their docks. The Yacht Club is also the only place around here with floating docks, which is a really nice bonus. Athena slid effortlessly into her new slip that might very well end up being her home for an extended period of time. That very night, SpaceX decided to bust out the big welcome wagon with a launch of one of their rockets right in our backyard. This is without a doubt one of the coolest things I have ever seen in my life. My favorite part was seeing the light from the rocket cast shadows over the clouds, and also hearing the deep rumble from the rocket, although apparently that night it wasn't as loud as it normally gets. Welcome to Florida, guys. Now if you hear something in the background, it is just our air conditioning that's on because we have shore power. It is glorious. The reason I mentioned we might be here for an extended period of time is because we have a lead on a project boat. Now, nothing is set in stone yet, so we don't know if it's going to happen, but it is a really cool boat project. So we're both crossing our fingers. We just don't know if it'll happen yet, but hopefully in the next coming weeks we can give you guys a bit of an update. Meanwhile, we're back in the land that flows with easily accessible parts and materials, and that means we have a few things we need to catch up on. For instance, we have some port lights that are leaking. Unfortunately, that leak is between the glass and the frame, not between the frame and the boat. And that is very annoying. I've talked to the manufacturer of these port lights, and these are bespoke port lights because of the curvature of Athena's cabin tub. We can't go with regular off-the-shelf port lights. We have to use bespoke ones. So yeah, I called them and I asked, and they said our best bet for sealing up the leak is to run a thin bead of silicone on the outside between the glass and the frame. That's an easy fix, which that's kind of the good news. The bad news is I bought all of these brand new in 2017, so they're not all that old, and they were pretty expensive, and most of them are already leaking. So yeah, not great news. If we take a quick peek out of the companionway here, past the Pelican on the piling, you can see a very dramatic sky. Those dramatic clouds mean business. It's summer here in Florida, and apparently that means rain almost every single day. Not for like the whole day, but maybe for an hour or so. So I definitely want to get the port light sealed up quick, but at the same time I need it to be dry for just a little bit to be able to do a good job. So let's see if we can find a good time slot for that. While we're twiddling our thumbs waiting for the weather to cooperate, we do have another item on our to-do list, and that is a new accumulator tank. We only seem to get about 2 years out of the accumulator tanks before they go bad and then need to be replaced. Fortunately, thanks to the magic of Amazon, it only took a day to get a new one. Our accumulator tank is hiding here inside of the shower on top of where the holding tank sits. They always seem to fail in the same way, at least for us. I don't know what other people are experiencing, but up here on top of it, there's a little valve for adjusting the pressure on one side of a diaphragm. But if we push in on this little valve here, you can see there's water squirting out. That is not supposed to happen. I started hearing the telltale signs of an accumulator tank issue about a week ago, but we were still in the Bahamas, so we just decided to wait until now because, as you can see, the pressurized water still works, so there's no real urgency. But our pressurized water pump is located down here, and if I take my little mic off and leave it here and then turn on the pump, then you can hear the pump almost fluttering. That rapid fire fluttering, that sound, that cannot be good for the pump. So that is why we ordered this guy. So let's get him swapped out for the broken one. The instructions for this little guy are very clear. Important: before use, adjust air pressure in tank 3 psi below water pump cut-in pressure. I had my lovely assistant poke her head in through the hatch where the pump is, and there's a little sticker on there that says shut in at 25 psi and shut off at 51 psi. So we'll take the shut in, that's 22, minus the 3 that's on the label of the pump, equals 22 psi. Just for the fun of it, let's check if it's actually pre-charged to 10 psi, which is what they're claiming. Okay, so the gauge is saying 12. Sweet, sweet failure. I've had this little pump for a really long time. We've used it for adjusting all of our previous accumulator tanks. Unfortunately, the little bit that goes at the end here has gone missing, so we can't actually adjust the pressure in this guy right now. The good news is we can still get him installed, and then we can always adjust it later on when we get our hands on a new pump. We'll turn off the pressurized water pump. We'll make sure the pressure's off of the system. And because my back is acting up, I've asked my lovely assistant to do the actual physical part of installing this blessed new accumulator tank.
Yeah, we're just doing a quick accumulator tank remod. You know, standard procedure here.
I don't know, you don't seem that quick.
You should be able to talk. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Wait, did that joke even work?
No, because you were so rushed.
No.
You just said gibberish. You should be one to talk or something. Or no.
Yeah, so
I guess you would say you don't know that feeling or something.
Yeah.
Unlike you.
Yeah, so really, I just complimented you.
Thank you, Pookie. Aww. Yeah. What do you want to say, Lummy?
I was gonna say it's like it's crimped onto the hose.
Or the hose is just a bit smushed from the hose clamp. We have tricks for dealing with this, Lori.
Okay, so what are they? See, you're just trying to set me up for...
For failure?
Yes.
What else would a husband do? I did the easy one. Now we're going to let Ava do the hard one. Just by heating the hose a little bit, we should be able to get that hose barb off of there. After much fussing about, we got the new accumulator tank in there. Any leaks?
No leaks. Job well done.
Woohoo!
We have been here in Florida for the past couple days, so I thought I would give you guys a tour of the marina we're staying in. We are staying in the Port Canaveral Yacht Club, which is in the very busy and industrial Port Canaveral Harbor. There are a few marinas here, and the Yacht Club is actually sandwiched in between the two larger marinas. There's Cape Marina, where we stayed the first night we got in, and there's Ocean Harbor, which is right next door. But we found that the Yacht Club actually has the best rates. There's an initial $2,500 fee to join the club, which isn't bad if you're going to be staying here for an extended period of time. And then it's about $830 a month, and that's including the live aboard fees, the in-slip pump out, water, Wi-Fi, and there's also a monthly restaurant fee, but we're okay with that because we usually go out to eat a couple times a month anyway. And as you can see behind me, there are not a lot of boats in the slips yet because they just installed these brand new docks. And we actually arrived the very first day that the port approved them to let people come back to the docks. But let me tell you, these things are so nice. These pilings are so cool because they are made out of a composite, and I don't know, I can't do it. Matt's and our friend Josh, they can make them move a little bit, but they're meant to have a little bit of give, so when there's a big storm, they will bend and not break. We've just been nerding out over these pilings. I think there's a cross section of some cut up pieces on shore that we will show you. But everything is just like so nice and new and clean here. We were terrified when we were docking the boat. We were just like, oh, please don't let us be the first one to like damage these beautiful brand new docks. One thing I am so excited about that's here in the US is that each slip has their own water spigot. Pretty much every marina we went to in Europe, you would have to share the like water spout with 5 or 6 boats, so you were constantly like having to put the hose in and out. I know it seems like a little thing, but just to be able to hook the water up and fill our tanks easily, I'm so excited, you know? It's the little things. There's about 50 docks. It goes from down there all the way back to shore. Down there. That's another thing that's so nice. In slip pump out. I mean, not having to take the boat somewhere or not having to like wait for a service to come here. There's just like a hose in the shed over here. You could come, turn the pump on and do it yourself. Here's a quick overview. There's a little gazebo here with a grill. This is the club facilities with the office and restaurant. And then over here is where you can keep all the dinghies and smaller boats. But let me take you to one of the coolest things about the yacht club. Ta-da! It comes equipped with a workshop. How awesome is that? There's some hand tools, a couple drill presses, saws. I mean, everything that you need if you need to get a little weekend project done on the boat. Oh, this is Artemis. There's also lots of little friends. Oh, Mads has been feeding them treats. So they really like us now. Then just off the workshop, there is the laundry room. There's 2 machines, which is perfect. It's a small marina. You don't need much more than that. But it is $20 a month for members and $30 for transient. And I think $20 a month for laundry, I mean, you're not going to beat that price at a laundromat. The docks are not the only area of the club that are getting a renovation. There is a tiki bar down here below the restaurant, and they are working on its remodel right now. And let me tell you, it is looking pretty dang spiffy. Then just next to the bar are the bathroom facilities. And let me tell you, just walking into this place, they are ice cold, which is so nice when you need to shower and get ready. Oh, having air conditioning. But yeah, there's a little sink area, a little vanity area, and then there are 2 really nice big shower areas. head up these steps to get to the restaurant. Up here, there's a really nice patio area, and we have been told that this is the best spot in the house to sit and watch the rocket launches from Kennedy Space Center. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not too shabby of a view. Get to see the whole marina. There's Athena there. Hey. Right behind me is the restaurant, and it's actually a really cool concept. I think either every week or every month or so there is a guest chef. So the menu is always changing and you can always try something new. Then around the front of the building, there's some storage units over here that members can rent out. There's tons of parking, and just through the gate, there's actually a little path that you can walk down through Port Canaveral, which I'm sure I'm gonna take you guys on in the next couple weeks. These are the cross sections of those pilings. I mean, look at how beautiful that is. So cool. So far, we have really been liking it here and have met a lot of really nice people. You can either become a member to have your boat here, or you can have a social membership, but it seems like there's always things going on here, and I think, you know, we're really excited to be here.
We are both very excited to be here in Florida, with just a small little exception that I am absolutely terrified about the whole hurricane situation, but I think that's just something I'm gonna have to get used to. Now, if not next week, then the week after that, we should be able to share some more details about our potential new project boat. So that will be very exciting. We'll end this week's video here, and we hope to see all you guys back here aboard good old Athena next week. And yeah, as always, feel free to leave a comment down below. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed this video,
Please remember to leave a like.
see you. Pew.
Pew, 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 pew.